Oh, I sure do hope Alan and Lucy Walcher are watching this. This is Country Boys, and this is up in the upstate of South Carolina in the Greenville area, and this was my first job in high school. And it was working for my neighbors, Alan and Lucy Walcher, who own and still own Country Boys, and love this place. Such a great place. It's a home and garden center in Greenville. It's expanded. It's grown since I was a young little tyke in my teens working there. My office space at that time was an outdoor nursery filled with plants and herbs and shrubs and all sorts of cool stuff, pine needles, produce. Alan and Lucy were generous to provide me with more responsibility, probably than a 15-year-old kid should have had at that time. But it was a great training ground. Now, from there, my office expanded, and it began to be a cubicle, and then it was a car, and periodically an airplane for a while. And now it's a secluded space here, overlooking a beautiful lowcountry view, which I have right out that big picturesque window right now. But even with the seclusion, a distraction is really just a mouse click away, right? It's not very far. Owners and key leaders must have incredible discipline to resist distraction and to set a space where distraction is really a minimum. So let's talk about the owner's space. While working with a non-governmental organization, I spent a lot of time in a number of stakeholder meetings and offices in different places. And one such stakeholder was a much older man who was a land developer and a philanthropist in North Texas. And in the 2000s, his office still carried the interior design touches of an office outfitted in the late 60s or 70s. You know what I'm talking about. Not much had changed. Mustard yellowed kitchen appliance, retro toilet, shag carpet, brown panel walls. It was kind of part gross and touching all at the same time. But what struck me about his office was the desktop computer that he had. And it was an old desktop computer. And it was never powered on, ever. On one occasion, I walked into his office and asked to pull up an article. I said, hey, I want to share this with you. He spun around in that chair with that kind of old grumpy look, and he called for his assistant. He said, hey, come power up my computer. He had no desire to even learn how to push the simple power button. To him, it was just kind of another distraction. This owner was so focused and locked in on developing land and giving away money that simple things like powering up a computer were just not that important to him. Your workspace is important, and that's what we need to spend just a couple of minutes on. We're constantly encouraging you as owners and key leaders to paint the walls of your space with what we like to call a heads-up display of vision, mission, values, process, and workflow. Recently, during one of our architect coaching calls, a buddy of mine, Enoch Sears, and I run the architecture firm Freedom Formula, and one of the owners actually shared a great picture with us that I wanted to share with you. And it was a picture of his office. And this is what it looked like. This is his owner space. For you on the podcast, you won't be able to see it, but check out our YouTube video and subscribe to that, and you'll be able to see it here. But this is the owner space. Notice the master process roadmap, that large printed image. Also an updated org chart, the smaller image just to the left of it. Printed processes taped on the wall, books, notebooks, no computer. There is a phone there, and it looks like there might be a printer right next to it, but there's no computer right there in their heads-up display. Now, obviously, we're not saying that you don't need technology. You do. But it does need to be harnessed in boundaries. The owner's space should be set up like the dashboard of a cockpit with all the necessary instruments to fly your business. So what are those? Well, let's talk about those. First, every business owner should have their vision story, their mission statement, and their unique core values printed out, posted, and reviewed on a regular basis. These are the ultimate, what we like to call leveling tools to help you, the owner, determine if you're on course with the correct heading. Had breakfast with a friend the other day. He's a business owner, and they're going through some really, really challenging conversations right now as a business. And he kind of rolled his eyes, but as we do, I said, hey, let's go back to your vision, your mission and values. Let's first see what those say, and then we can start to think more process and more strategically after that. I write about how to develop a vision story, a mission statement, unique core values in full detail in my book, Let Your Business Burn. Stop putting out fires, discover purpose, and build a business that matters. So write them, print them, post them. Your office should look something like this and implement them over and over and over again with great repetition. Second thing, every business owner should have copies of their org chart, their weekly schedule, and their master process roadmap. These are all processes that should exist in a business. Now, that picture that I showed you earlier, that's what was there, printed out, posted on the wall. The org chart, the weekly schedule. Hey, this is kind of a sense of what my ideal week should look like. We call it the non-negotiable weekly schedule, and your master process roadmap. Also, I'm going to show you something else that we've built. Owners should consider using our Business on Purpose implementation dashboard. It's a brief snapshot of what you should be thinking through daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, semesterly, annually as a business owner. So if you wake up on a Monday like today is, at the time of this recording, and go, what do I do today? Well, with this implementation roadmap, you review your weekly schedule. You review your 12-week plan. You review your mission and your values, and you review those huddles. And then once a week, you've got time in your weekly schedule where you review your Level 2 dashboard. We just did that this morning. I do that every Monday morning as we put our metrics up there. Again, all of this is in the Business on Purpose roadmap at freedom.mybusinessonpurpose.com. You can check them out there. But this is a great kind of cockpit look at what you, the owner, should be thinking about every single day. Finally, every business owner should have completed and printed their updated 12-week plan. Brian Moran has written a powerful book called The 12-Week Year. Get more done in 12 weeks than others do in 12 months. And we have literally sent hundreds of these books to business owners over the past couple of years. We've even run an entire event here locally based on the principles every 12 weeks. So our local and virtual business owners and their teams are on the same page with their 12-week plans. So this is what it looks like in that event. And part of what happens is you've got owners that are setting up their space to buy time so that their teams can be a part of this. So your space should be set apart, special, unique, and should honestly facilitate, and this is important, your highest and deepest level of work. Your space should facilitate your highest and deepest level of your work. If technology or those trophies from 10th grade are distracting you, move them somewhere else and set up your office on purpose. The owner's space should be an intentional place for you to be able to think, to lead, to vision, to innovate, to build, to design, and a place that empowers you to say yes to the right things and empowers you also to say no to the wrong things. Hey, if you want to see an in-depth look at all of these systems and processes I talk about, vision, mission, values, master process roadmaps, team meetings, non-negotiable weekly schedules, go pick up a copy of my book, Let Your Business Burn, Stop Putting Out Fires, Discover Purpose, and Build a Business that Matters. It's a great opportunity. All the templates are in there for you to be able to follow. You can walk through it with your team. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And also go check out freedom.mybusinessonpurpose.com so that we can do what we do, and that is work with owners and key leaders to build out systems, process, and purpose using the Business on Purpose roadmap to help give you freedom and liberate you from business chaos. As always, we're so delighted to be able to share this stuff with you. Again, check us out on LinkedIn, Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also our podcast, the Business on Purpose podcast. Where you can get these episodes through your podcast, through your phone. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for joining us.